Hello and welcome. If you feel like technology is a giant wave about to crash on your business, you're not alone. Artificial intelligence, or AI, is hitting us all like a tsunami. The question is, will you surf this wave or get totally wiped out? Today, I'm here to make sure it's the former, that you're a surfer. My name is Ryan, Coach Ryan, tech buddy, your tech coach. And I've spent the last decade at least turning chaotic business processes into streamlined systems using automation and AI. I've helped everyone from solopreneurs to enterprises, small teams and big teams save thousands of hours and hopefully quite a few headaches by letting machines do what machines do best. So humans, like us, and this is a real video, isn't it crazy that we have to specify that? Like, I think people are doing some version of this to prove that it's not an AI-generated video, as if that's not something. Anyway, so humans, like us, can do what we do best. I'm also a fellow small business owner, so I totally get it. You have zero time to waste on fads or fluff. So why listen to me? I've been nerding out on AI since before it was cool. I've built workflows that run on autopilot and adapted new tools to real-world businesses. I've probably broken things so you don't have to. Most importantly, I'm all about practical results, saving time, saving money, and keeping your customers happy. Today's session will be fun, informative, and yeah, a little bit urgent. Because here's the truth. AI isn't a luxury for big tech companies anymore. In fact, it's why I started this business. It's becoming a necessity for all of us. In a 2024 survey, 75% of small businesses said they already experimented with AI. And 91% of small or medium-sized businesses using AI say it's boosting their revenue or productivity. That means your competitors might already be surfing that wave, finding ways to work smarter. If you're still sitting on the beach, well, the wave isn't going to wait for anyone. And little aside here, if you've ever ridden waves in the ocean, you know there's a certain touch and feel that comes with experience in the ocean. Let me be your surf buddy. Don't worry, by the end of our time together, you'll not only understand the basics of AI and automation, you'll also hopefully have a game plan to ride this wave safely. We'll cover what AI really is in plain English, no PhDs needed, what AI agents are and why everyone's sort of buzzing about them, and how to start applying these tools in your own business right away. Think of this as an AI and automation 101 course for business owners, with a friendly guide, me, Ryan, your tech buddy, leading you through. Oh, and we'll even include a farm metaphor to make these concepts hopefully intuitive, because who doesn't love a good farm analogy? By the end, you'll see why working with AI is a bit like running a smart farm and how you can harvest more rewards with less effort. Sound good? All right, let's dive in and start paddling to catch this wave. First, let's address the elephant in the room, or perhaps the heavyweight in the room. Ever feel like your small business is the little boxer in a ring against a giant corporate boxer? Or maybe one of your competitors who is bought by private equity who now seems to have endless resources? It can seem a bit unfair. They have more money, more people, more technology. You're just one person or a small team wearing 12 hats, running on coffee and determination, grit. Now, I'm not here to tell you AI will magically turn you into a Fortune 500 company overnight, but it can be your secret weapon, the equalizer in that fight, your sling, as you might think. Think of AI and automation as the trusty sidekick in your corner, giving you the abilities that even the big guys struggle with. Something like your corner guy. Speed, agility, and efficiency are where small businesses can shine with AI. In fact, one of the hardest problems that AI can't solve quite yet is alignment and coordination within and between people and teams. Organizational politics might be the downfall of big corporations, and small businesses might have an easier time coordinating small teams with thousands of AIs that are well aligned against competitors who have internal ego and politics impeding their ability to succeed. So here's some good news. With today's AI tools, you don't need an army of developers or a Silicon Valley budget. Many AI-driven solutions are affordable or even free, and they don't require an MIT degree to use. That means you, as a nimble business owner, can adopt them faster than a big corporation that's stuck in meetings about meetings. Large bureaucracies can impede progress. As a small business or a solopreneur or an early stage startup that embraces AI from the beginning, you can experiment, iterate, and implement in the time it takes a big company to just approve a plan. And the payoff is real. Studies show that 61% of small businesses adopting AI do it primarily to save time. Time that you can redirect to strategic work or maybe even taking that day off. Imagine that. But the robots don't. Plus, when you automate routine tasks, you reduce human error and improve consistency, which levels up your customer experience. The bottom line? AI gives the little guys some big superpowers. It's like you've been fighting with fists and someone gives you a sling. You're David in this case. You still have to know how to use it. Swinging wildly won't necessarily help. But once you do, you can hit above your weight class. In short, small businesses plus AI equals agility that giants will envy. While they're trying to organize a team of 50 to handle a project, you and your digital assistants can have it done by morning. This is how you level the playing field and even jump ahead. So if you've ever muttered, how am I supposed to compete with these guys? Pay close attention to this next part. We're going to demystify what AI actually is and show that it's not some unattainable magic only for tech wizards. It's for you, and it's more accessible than ever. So it's time to lift the curtain. What is artificial intelligence really? Do you need to hire a PhD or summon a tech genie to use it? Absolutely not. Let's break it down in plain language. At its core, AI is just software. It's a large math matrix. It's an Excel spreadsheet filled with numbers. But it's software that can learn and adapt. Think of a regular computer program as a very obedient chef. It follows a recipe step by step. And if you don't give it the exact recipe, it gets a little bit stuck. AI, on the other hand, is like a chef that can figure out a new recipe by tasting and adjusting as it goes. In more technical terms, AI systems identify patterns in data and information and make predictions or decisions without being explicitly programmed for every scenario. Another example I like to use is if you've ever played Mario Kart or an arcade racing game, every once in a while on the track, there's this little boosting accelerator. So imagine programming your business with boosting accelerators around the course of your business. At a certain point, you'll be able to point one booster at the next booster, and you might be able to go around the track without ever hitting the gas. And to be frank, you've probably already used AI in your daily life. Have you ever talked to Siri or Alexa? Asked Google to complete a sentence? Had Netflix suggest a show that you might like? That's all AI. It's not Terminator or HAL 9000. It's a bunch of algorithms crunching data to make your life a bit easier, or at least to autocorrect your texts into something maybe embarrassing. There are a few flavors of AI, but you'll hear two buzzwords often. Machine learning. This is a type of AI where we feed a system a ton of examples, say pictures of cats and dogs, and it learns to tell them apart. It's like training a toddler, but faster and with far less crayon and spaghetti on the walls. Over time, the AI improves at whatever tasks it's trained on, whether that's recognizing images or objects in images, predicting stock prices, or identifying spam emails. Next, generative AI. This is sort of the shiny new toy everyone's talking about. Think ChatGPT. Generative AI can create content, like writing an email draft for you or generating a marketing image. It learns from existing content and then produces new content that matches the patterns. Kind of like an intern who has read the entire internet and can now mimic it. Sometimes it's impressively accurate. Sometimes it's hilariously wrong, but it's improving every day and at an accelerating rate. I like to think of generative AI as an idea dictionary. It's a mathematical representation of all of the relationship between concepts and words and ideas and the images that represent them, the video, the audio, in every possible language. It somehow organizes information into this giant interconnected web of understanding. Some people call it a world model. And these world models have within them an embedded understanding of how the world works. Integrating generative AI into your business is like integrating a high horsepower idea dictionary capable of producing information based on its internal map of all the ideas that it knows about. We'll get into more detail in a minute. But the main point is AI is a tool, a really powerful tool, but a tool nonetheless. You don't have to know how to build it. You just need to know how to use it and how to use it to your advantage. Nowadays, using it is becoming easier thanks to user-friendly apps and integrations. Now, one term you might have heard is AI agents. This phrase has been trending like the latest superhero movie. Let's clarify that a bit next, because it's directly relevant to how you can offload tasks to these digital helpers. So what on earth is an AI agent? Are we talking about robot James Bonds? Are we talking about Robin Williams' robot from Bicentennial Man? Not quite. That's coming, and I can't wait to hang out with him, but we're not there yet. An AI agent is basically a software program that can perform tasks on its own or make decisions based on the goals you set. Here's a simple way to imagine it. Remember those choose your own adventure books? You'd make a choice and flip to a page to see what happens. AI agents are like that, but way more complicated. AI agents are like that, but where the book chooses its own adventure. You give them a goal or a problem, schedule my meetings, respond to basic customer questions, monitor my inventory, and they figure out the steps to get there on their own, adjusting as things change. When ChatGPT first came on the scene, it was mind-blowing for everybody. But we remember that some of those early conversations would go off the rails relatively quickly. One of the early innovations was teaching the LLM to reflect on its own first impressions. And that's been integrated as this approach to simulation of reasoning. So what an agent does is reflect on its own thoughts, develop its own plans, and make decisions or predictions about the tools that it should use to accomplish or realize its plans. And because generative AI includes some version of an idea dictionary, it can have an understanding of how to actually realize in the real world using digital tools specific outcomes that the user might be asking for, even if the user didn't tell the AI how to do it. So one way to think about it, going back to that first example, is you're racing around the track in Mario Kart and you're hitting these little boosters within your organizational racetrack, and little by little, you're shooting forward to the next objective accelerated by this idea dictionary. Well, now imagine that the AI itself is navigating this track and that it's making decisions about when and how to turn based on the tools that you provided or the boosters that it sees on the track. Let's go into a more concrete example. Let's talk about an email agent. An AI that monitors your inbox, finds messages that look like appointment requests, and automatically replies with your calendar availability. No more back and forth scheduling nightmares. So how might this work? You give an AI access to your email inbox. When an email comes in, it reviews the message to make its first decision. Does this look like an appointment request? And then if it does, it looks to see what tools it has access to. Oh, I have access to the calendar tool. And then based on the content of the email, it might look for availability around the time frame that was requested, and then craft an email to respond with the availability of the person being requested. So this is one way that a simple agent might work with a few small tools to really improve your life. Here's another example. A customer support agent, a chatbot on your website or Facebook page that can answer common questions 24/7 in a friendly, human-like way. It's like having a customer service rep who works the graveyard shift for free. Another example is a social media agent, a tool that drafts and even posts content for you, learning which posts get the most engagement and adjusting strategy over time. We have examples of social media agents and customer support agents that we would be happy to integrate into a low-cost CRM for you. These agents can be powered by various AI technologies. Some use the machine learning we talked about to make decisions. Others use generative AI to compose answers or content. The key is they work autonomously once you set them up. They're not just simple scripts. They can handle a bit of the unexpected. Now, AI agents aren't perfect. Think of them as eager interns, but they're learning fast. Mostly capable, surprisingly clever at times, but occasionally they'll do something weird that you need to fix. The good news is they learn and improve with feedback, and you remain the boss. You don't just unleash an agent and hope for the best. You train it and monitor it, especially early on, just like you would a new hire. And unlike a human hire, an AI doesn't sleep, doesn't take vacations, and definitely doesn't complain about Mondays. It also won't steal lunch from the office fridge. That's a bonus. So when you hear about autonomous AI or agentic AI, don't be intimidated. It just means you have software working for you, making decisions within set boundaries, usually delimited by the tools that they're embedded in. You set the rules, they do the work. Now that we know what AI and AI agents are, let's switch gears a bit and talk about how this fits into your business. And for that, I promised you a metaphor. Time to head to the farm. Yes, you heard that right. We're comparing your business to a farm. Why? Because sometimes high-tech concepts click better with down-to-earth analogies. Plus, we could all touch grass every once in a while. Running a business is a lot like running a farm, and running a farm is running a business. So let me start with a story. A few years back, I had the privilege of touring a 2,000-acre potato seed farm in northern Utah. And what is a potato seed? Well, it's a potato. But it turns out it's a bit more regulated and complicated than that. It can't just be any potato, although technically it can, but not if you're trying to produce at scale for a region or hundreds of thousands of people. We all need our delicious fries that come from Idaho potatoes. And the seeds for those potatoes have to come from somewhere. The day I was touring the farm, the USDA inspectors happened to be on site, and it had just rained the day before. Not a ton, but enough. And that rain complicated a lot for the farmer. The day before the rain, they had sprayed the crop with chemicals that would kill the plant. because it's a lot easier to harvest potatoes when the plant is laying down because the potato seed is the root. And you could tell that the farmer was a bit concerned about whether or not they had made the right decision because he kept revisiting in our time together the decision to harvest. Now, this was mostly automatic, but semi-manual and required a number of truck drivers and a number of loaders, farm managers, people on the line to handle the potatoes, etc. It's a rather complex operation, but it wasn't a ton of people. And the rain can complicate the harvest because when you're digging up the potatoes, mud balls under the ground can look a whole lot like potatoes to the harvester. And if you carry around a bunch of mud and a bunch of potatoes at the same time, it can make the whole harvest a lot less efficient and might even make it less profitable or not profitable at all. So we could sense that there was a certain urgency and concern on behalf of the farmer for the decision about whether or not he should have harvested given its proximity to rain. And there was probably some extra stress because the USDA inspectors were on site. As we went through the farm, I recognized that the vast majority of the experience was in his mind and in a couple of notebooks he carried around. He was making decisions based on his rich experience. And this particular harvest decision fell in a bit of a complicated area because it wasn't a clear-cut decision. He had to rely on his intuition. And his intuition was a decision based on the experience that he has had over time. It was some version of his mind and body recognizing patterns in his business and the weather that would help him determine whether or not it was a good day to harvest. And then he would keep notes in the notebook. And then as we walked through the farm, we saw these massive harvesters and these large loaders that would dig the ground faster than any human could possibly dig the ground because manually harvesting thousands of acres of potatoes would take a significant amount of time, effort, and people, and this farm just genuinely didn't have that many laborers. After the potatoes were dug and brought to the unloading station, they were put on a conveyor belt. And yeah, there were some mud balls intermixed with the potatoes. And it was concerning to go, oh, how are they going to solve this problem? How are they going to avoid throwing the baby out with the bathwater, so to speak, by accidentally trying to process mud balls and not potatoes? Ultimately, as the potatoes were unloaded from the truck, they were put on a conveyor belt, and there was this rather ingenious solution. It was just a rubber strap. And it turns out the mud balls didn't bounce and the potatoes did. So they had one conveyor that led to another that was separated by just enough height for the mud balls to fall off the conveyor and the potatoes to bounce on to the next conveyor. Now, this is probably a good example of how we can be innovative and smart with limited resources in our businesses. So why do I give you this example? We've got a farmer who's making a complex decision based on his intuition and experience. We've got a record-keeping process in his manual notebooks, and we have massive amounts of different equipment that's not used every day, but certainly has its season to handle large farm operations from planting to harvest to then processing. Turns out, running a business is a lot like running a farm. Intuition would be the farmer's instinct. This farmer had a gut feel for things, when to plant, whether or not it was a good decision to harvest, sensing when the weather's about to turn, and trying to make decisions based on that experience. In business, this is you using your experience and intuition to make decisions. It's your creativity, your understanding of your customers, your vision. No AI can fully replace that, and that's a good thing. But it can learn from the patterns in your business. So we're going to compare intuition to AI in this case, pattern recognition and an understanding of what the right decision should be. Now, next, record keeping would be the farmer's ledger. Good farmers will keep logs, rainfall, crop yields, which fertilizer works best. Similarly, good business owners track their data. Sales numbers, customer information, which marketing efforts paid off. Think of this record-keeping system as the brain of your business. Whether it's a CRM, an Excel spreadsheet, or a dashboard, this memory ensures nothing falls through the cracks. You need solid records to know what's working and to feed into your decisions, and to feed your AI agents accurate information. Automation, in this case, would be the tractor and the machines. On a farm, you don't plow acres of field by hand. You have tractors and harvesters. In your business, automation tools and AI agents might be your tractors. But more importantly, automation in your business will often automate the process of record keeping alongside doing things for you, sending that reminder email, handling a payment or transaction, and then sending a receipt, taking an order, and then creating the shipping label. These are examples of automation and record keeping that will help you better understand the patterns in your business. Automation does the heavy lifting of repetitive tasks, plowing through data, hauling information from one system to another, and generally speeding up work that would take you 10 times longer manually. Now, picture a modern farm. The farmer, you, wakes up with a new idea of what to plant. That would be your strategy. Before dawn, an autonomous tractor, your AI, has already tilled the field according to schedule, sent the emails, updated the spreadsheets, sorted the inquiries, whatever your routine tasks are. The farm's record-keeping system remembers exactly which field had the best yield last season. Your analytics show which top service or product was the top seller. And armed with that info, your farm's brain, the record-keeping, remembers exactly which field had the best yield last season for which crop, and your analytics might show which service or product was a top seller. Armed with that information, you decide where to focus your efforts today. This isn't a fantasy. It's how well-run businesses can operate with AI and automation. Your intuition guides the strategy, your record-keeping systems remember the details, and your automations do the grunt work. Sort of beautiful, right? One more thing about farms. They have pests and weeds, those annoying things that slow down growth. In businesses, we have those equivalents, those mind-numbingly slow or clunky processes that make you feel like you're moving at a snail's pace. It's time to root those out and let the automation tractor loose on them. So let's get practical. How do you decide what to automate first? A lot of people ask, where do I even start with AI or automation in my business? The answer, start with the low-hanging fruit, the tasks that bug you or steal the most of your time for the least reward. Think about yesterday or last week. What tasks did you do over and over that made you feel like Bill Murray in Groundhog Day? What kept you at the office late or took you away from higher value work or from family time? Chances are those tasks are the tasks ripe for automation. I have a quick checklist for spotting prime candidates. Look for the tasks that are repetitive. If you have to do it on a regular schedule or many times in the same way, that should be a candidate. Examples, entering receipts into QuickBooks, or sending the same welcome email to each new client. Next, time-consuming. Tasks that eat up a lot of your day but don't require your special touch. Compiling reports, scheduling social media posts, sorting through inquiry emails, etc. Next, prone to human error. Tasks where a slip-up could cost you. Examples of this could be invoicing and manual calculations, copying data from one system to another. Here's a pro tip. If a task makes you mutter, "Why am I doing this manually?" That's a neon sign that it could likely be automated. Also, if it's something you'd hand off to an assistant if you could, there's a good chance an AI or tool could handle it. Let me give you a couple of examples. Scheduling meetings. The back and forth of, does Tuesday at 2 work? No, how about Wednesday at 11? That's a time sink. An AI scheduling assistant can handle that dance for you, instantly checking calendars and proposing slots. Hours saved, sanity preserved. Customer follow-ups. Sending thank you email to each customer or following up if they haven't paid their invoice. Important? Yes. Tedious? Also yes. An automated workflow can ensure every customer gets a friendly follow-up on time, every time, without you even lifting a finger. As you list out these tasks, you might already feel a bit giddy, imagining never doing them again. And that's good. But before you fire yourself from those tasks, let's consider the payoff. We need to talk about the return on investment for your automation ideas. So you tackle the ones that give you the biggest bang for your buck first. We're business owners. We care about the bottom line. So what's the return on investment, ROI, for all this AI and automation stuff? How do we make sure that putting time or money into a new tool actually pays off? First off, automation often has an immediate ROI in the time saved. And time, as they say, is money. Consider this. One analysis found that the average small business owner could save around 13 hours a week of their own time by automating tasks, plus another 13 hours for their employees. That's basically 26 hours if you have 2 people in your company. That's getting half a work week back. What would you do if you had half a week back? Serve more clients, brainstorm new products or services, actually relax for once? Maybe that's not in you. It's like finding an extra day in the week though. Now translate your time saved into dollars. If you or your team aren't bogged down in busy work, that's fewer labor hours paid for more routine tasks, or more capacity to take on new business. In fact, companies using AI report about 20% reduction in costs on average. It's not just about cutting costs, it's about boosting revenue too. In one survey, 80% of businesses using AI for marketing and sales saw increased revenue, with 40% seeing gains of over 6%. Let's put it in concrete terms. Say you spend $100 a month on an AI tool, but it saves you 10 hours. If your time is worth even $50 an hour, that's $500 of value for $100 spent. A 5x return on pure dollars, not to mention the reduction in stress and errors. Speaking of intangibles, let's not ignore those. Consistency and quality. Automated processes don't have a bad day. Every customer gets the same reliable experience, which builds trust and satisfaction. Happier customers means repeat business. Second, fewer errors. Humans get tired and make mistakes. AI doesn't get tired. Fewer invoicing errors or missed follow-ups means you don't lose money or reputation apologizing for slip-ups. Faster response times. If you or your AI assistant can respond to a new lead within minutes instead of hours, you're far more likely to win that business. Speed and personalization impress people. The key is to start with a clear goal. What metrics do I want to improve? Is it hours saved, errors reduced, sales increased? Pick something tangible and track it. That way you'll know for sure if that chatbot or scheduling app is pulling its weight. All right. The takeaway is AI and automation can offer huge ROI if you apply them smartly. Think about the farm. If the farmer had to dig every potato, sort every single potato from a mud ball, and haul it in a wheelbarrow to the storage facility, it would be a very expensive process. Our fries would explode in their price. But they're using massive equipment and innovative, even if it's just a rubber strap, processes and technology to get more done with less. So you might be thinking, this sounds promising, but I'm not a farm. Or maybe you're even thinking, I'm still skeptical this might be too good to be true. What's the catch? Good question. The catch is you actually have to implement these solutions and use them consistently in your business. Which brings us to envisioning what your day-to-day might look like once you do. Take a moment to imagine your ideal work-life balance or your ideal day-to-day in your business. Maybe it's getting all your administrative work done by 3 p.m. so you can pick up your kids from school and not log back in until after dinner. Maybe it's having time to hit the gym or focus on that big growth idea rather than drowning in emails. This is where AI-powered automation can genuinely change your life. Now, I'm not saying you'll be on a beach 24/7 while robots run your company. I mean, not yet at least, even though that's incredibly tempting. Although, some people like what they do. I'm in that category. But picture this scenario. Morning, you grab your coffee and check your summary email that an AI agent prepared overnight. I have an AI agent that reads the news for me in specific categories, then sends me a daily email into my inbox that I can start each morning with. In this case, it might pull yesterday's sales numbers, flag 2 odd customer inquiries that it couldn't handle, or even drafted responses for you to review. You spend 15 minutes tweaking those instead of 2 hours compiling information and finding the problem that you need to deal with first. Midday, a new lead comes in through your website. Normally, you rush to reply before they lose interest. Maybe it's a quote or a customer inquiry while you're on a job. But this time, your AI chatbot already greeted them, answered their basic questions, and scheduled a sales or support call tomorrow at 10 a.m. This is not sci-fi. It checked your calendar and it found a slot. We can help you integrate all of these solutions into your business, even with an AI voice receptionist. You just gained a hot lead without lifting a finger. And then in the afternoon, because you've saved time in the morning and midday, you're working on a big strategic plan, the kind of deep work that actually grows your business. And you're not interrupted every 5 minutes. Why? Because a lot of those got a minute issues are handled by automations. Invoice due today, the AI already sent a polite reminder to the client. Your attention stays where it should, on the big picture, not the minutia. You might even wrap up at a reasonable hour, feeling accomplished instead of exhausted. That creative work is energizing, right? Does this sound a bit like a fairy tale? Perhaps. I don't know how your business runs day to day. But we've all seen pieces of this become reality. In fact, as an AI-first business, I'm seeing key parts of this in my day-to-day. If you go to cloudelephants.com, there's a form on our homepage. That homepage form submits information to an AI agent that goes, conducts some research, develops a report, and sends to customers a product recommendation and a technology roadmap, free of charge. This is meant to demonstrate the capabilities of AI agents in our businesses from the ground up. That type of work would normally have taken me hours, but now it's done by an AI in minutes, and it sends that roadmap to a website that was crafted and coded by AI as custom software to handle my specific use case. So not all of these pieces are in place for your business yet. One of my clients wanted to have a robust Google business presence. And so we set up an AI that responds to every review that comes into their system. Any review below a certain rating might be handled manually, but 5-star reviews, which they get on the regular, get an AI response within a few minutes that shows to potential leads their responsiveness and maturity as a business. The changes can be remarkable. The point is, life with automation means more time back. Not just freedom from tasks you hate, but freedom to focus on what you love or what truly needs your expertise. Those parts of your business that require your deep understanding and your ability to connect with your customers. Your business can run more smoothly on its own. And hey, maybe you'll take a real vacation and let the robots handle things for a little bit of time. That would be an incredible future. Now, let's talk strategy here for a little bit. You might be thinking, this all sounds great, but how do I actually do it without breaking everything? And that's a great question. The answer: start small and smart. When it comes to implementing AI or automation, my motto is start small, learn fast. Trying to automate everything at once is a recipe for overwhelm. Instead, pick one target to begin with. Think of it as a pilot project. Let's start with a metaphor. One of the coolest organisms out there is our mushrooms. We're more closely related to mushrooms than we are to plants. But if you've ever seen how a mycelial network develops, it reaches out a tiny hyphae, really small strand, and it makes a few experiments. And where it finds sugar, it reinforces, well, not necessarily sugar, but I'm, being shorthanded here. And when a hyphae finds what it needs, the nutrients that it needs, it doubles down and it builds on success. Your business was probably built in a very similar way. A little experiment, some failed, some worked, a process adaptation here, a new idea there, a new technology here, a new solution there. And as we build these systems, we learn that our business is really only as capable. Trying to automate everything at once is a recipe for overwhelm. Instead, pick one target to begin and think of it as a pilot project, like a mycelial network that's turning into a mushroom. It reaches out with one hyphae, and if it finds the nutrients it needs, it doubles down. And it keeps building and building on its network until one day it has enough energy to produce the fruit, the mushroom, and release its spores. That's a little bit how all complexity emerges over time. So let's start small and come up with a game plan together. Step 1, pick one high impact area. From that list of repetitive / time-sucking tasks you made, choose one that's causing real pain or is relatively easy to automate. Maybe it's your invoice process is a mess, or you spend way too much time scheduling appointments. 2, find the right tool or approach. Do a bit of research or consult an expert. And by the way, I'm not talking about anything here that I can't help you with. It might be as simple as using features in software you already have, like setting up email filters or an automatic response. Or it could mean trying a popular automation tool. For example, I've integrated N8N, which is a platform that allows for the connection between systems and AI agents to work in a collaborative way to connect to the apps that I sell. One specifically is called Go High Level. We call it the growth engine, and it integrates other tools as well. That's why we call it something else. Or it could mean trying a popular automation tool. And all of the tools that we suggest, recommend, and provide are tools that we know work for small businesses and ideally scale at a low cost and in a way that handles as many problems as possible for your business. For example, pretty much every business needs a CRM or customer relationship manager. Step 2, find the right tool or approach. Do a bit of research or consult an expert. A little note on tools while we're here. Some processes in businesses can be very similar when it comes to technology. For example, we all send emails, which is a way of sending messages. And we send text messages and we make phone calls. And a lot of us take digital payments. We all tend or need to market our businesses on social media. Why do I say this? Finding the right tool or approach doesn't mean you need to come up with it from scratch. In fact, it's about building a business process around battle-tested and proven solutions that can work for you. All of the tools and systems we recommend are ones that we use ourselves at Cloud Elephants and solve common business processes in an integrated way. So take payments, create and sell products online, handle calendar automations, create websites. All of these tools and systems are things that we would be happy to set up and provide to you. However, In finding the right tool or approach, it might be as simple as using features and software you already have, like setting up email filters or automatic responses. It could mean trying a new system like N8N or the Cloud Elephant's growth engine like we would recommend. Don't overthink it. Just find something that addresses the specific task that is costing you time and taking you away from the most valuable thing you can do for your business. Step 3, implement on a small scale. Set up your automation for one workflow. Don't overhaul everything at once. For example, automate just the new client welcome email or just the data entry from your web form to your CRM. If it's an AI agent, give it clear boundaries. For example, if you're using the AI receptionist or AI chatbot, give it specific rules about what it can and can't do, and keep it narrowly scoped to immediately servicing your customer or lead, and then handing off the more complex tasks to you. Step 4, test and tweak. Run it for a short while, a week or two. Keep an eye on it. Did the invoices actually go out correctly? Is the chatbot giving helpful answers, or is it confused by certain phrases? Gather feedback from your team or even from a customer that you trust. Then adjust the settings or the process as needed. Think of it like training a digital intern. A little coaching up front leads to better performance. And ultimately, you're going to be adjusting your business process to adopt new tools so that everybody can save more time. Step 5, evaluate the results. Did it save you time? Money? Fewer headaches? Look at whatever metric you targeted. Maybe you saved 5 hours that week, or your customer response time dropped from 4 hours to 30 minutes. If the pilot was a win, awesome. You have proof that AI can work for you. If it wasn't perfect, that's okay. You'll learn something with minimal risk. Refine it and try again, or pick a different task and pilot that. The beauty of a pilot is that it's low stakes. It's okay if everything isn't flawless right out of the gate. Treat it as an experiment, a learning opportunity. You have a hypothesis. This chat agent will save me 10 emails a week, and you're testing it. Once it's proven or improved until it works, then you can ramp up on that solution or move on to the next one. Also, involve your team if you have one. Sometimes employees worry that automation might replace them. In my experience, when they see it freeing them from the dull stuff, most people get on board quickly. There's a reason why so many people are relying on ChatGPT, even if they are also afraid it's going to replace them. They love saving time. They love offloading the cognitive effort. And it can even be fun. Maybe you can even collectively name your new AI helper and celebrate its first win for the team. We named our AI agent Bubbles. The more you include everyone, the more they'll embrace the changes. Remember, the goal of automation isn't to eliminate the human touch. It's to elevate it, to provide more personalization and better customer experiences. By automating the mundane 20% of tasks that take up 80% of your time, you free yourself and your team to focus on the creative, strategic, high-touch parts of the business that AI can't do. After a successful pilot, you can gradually tackle the next automation and the next. You can stick out the next hyphy and the next hyphy to expand the mycelial network of your business. And as an aside, our businesses are only as big as the amount of complexity that they can handle. So if you spend all your time wrestling with one customer, then your business is probably only going to be able to handle that one customer. If you discover ways that you can support 10 customers, now your business can be 10 times bigger. Always take it step by step, learning and adjusting as you grow. Now, a gentle warning. As you start down this path, you might hit some bumps. Maybe a tool doesn't work as expected, or there's a learning curve. That's normal. Don't let a hiccup discourage you. Every tractor can get a flat tire. You fix it and you keep plowing. So don't get discouraged, keep learning. And this is also an opportunity. So many really good online influencers and marketing strategies today are rooted in the authenticity of sharing what you're learning along the way. So this might be an opportunity for you to grow in your network and grow in your business's relative influence by sharing what you learn. Ultimately, as we learn and as we grow and as we share what we learn, we're exposing our business to new opportunities and customers who might be exploring what we do or looking to learn for themselves. This brings me to an important point. The landscape of AI is evolving fast, so you need to be adaptable. Let's talk about why staying adaptable and not waiting too long to jump in is so critical. We started by talking about a big wave. Here's why that image is so appropriate. Waves don't wait. If you try to ignore them, you still get soaked, or you get demolished by the wave. You're not surfing it, you're being taken by it in the washing machine. In business terms, the risk of not adapting is that you get outpaced by competitors who do adapt. Remember those stats from the beginning? 3/4 of small businesses are already using AI, or at least testing it. And nearly 80% of business leaders plan to boost their AI spending this year and next year. That trend means the longer you wait, the more ground you may have to make up. The train is leaving the station. It's okay if you're not on the first car or in first class. You just don't want to be left on the platform. Think of other big shifts in the past. The internet, smartphones, social media marketing. Early adopters gained a huge advantage. The laggards and the skeptics had to play a painful game of catch up, if they caught up at all. AI is shaping up to be that kind of shift. One day in the not so distant future, running a business without any AI assistance will seem as inefficient as doing accounts on paper ledgers or advertising only in the phone book. Now, I get it. Change is uncomfortable. There's a fear of doing it wrong, or concerns about security, or just knowing where to start. But staying still is riskier. You don't want to take decisions sitting down. Your competitors will figure this out. Some probably have. I like to say, if you think adopting a new technology is hard, try falling behind. That's probably much worse. The good news is you don't have to do it alone. There are a lot of experts who specialize in bridging the gap between next generation technology and real world business needs. That was the opportunity I saw when I started Cloud Elephants. So many large enterprises had what felt like unfair advantages because they had the ability to integrate AI into their day-to-day businesses. And when I learned that open source technology was outperforming some of our proprietary tech at a place I was working, I realized that the moment was now to help small and medium-sized businesses capitalize on this moment and potentially move even faster than the large enterprises can. A lot of these tools are getting simpler by the day. The companies building them really want you to succeed because as you use their products, it's usually good for them too. So they're motivated to make onboarding easy and provide support. So my advice overall, adopt a learning mindset. You don't need to master everything overnight, but do lean in and try things. Maybe set aside an hour a week to play with a new tool or read an AI case study in your industry. That's why I offer fractional CTO services, to help businesses work through their strategy of adopting and integrating technology into their business with an ally, someone who will get their hands dirty and understand the way their business works to help them make the best decisions without having to learn everything. Small, consistent steps will put you ahead of most people who just procrastinate until they have, quote, more time. And for what we all understand, that never happens. Also, consider the cost of not acting. If your competitor across town automates their customer outreach and you're still doing it manually, guess who's reaching leads faster and making more sales? If they're using AI analytics to price their services optimally and you're still guessing, well, you get the idea. In business, if you're standing still, you're actually moving backward relative to everyone else. That's why I said, don't make decisions sitting down and waiting. All right, I won't belabor the point. You get it at this point. And if you're here, you're already on the right side of that adoption curve. You're interested and you're open-minded, so that's huge. Give yourself credit for that. And I'm here to help you with whatever you need in your next step. We've covered a lot, so let's recap our journey together. And we'll talk about the metaphors too. The AI wave is massive and it's here. You, the small business owner, can choose to surf it and gain speed, or do nothing and get potentially crushed by the wave. I'd prefer to see you ride it. We talked about AI 101. It's not magic or sci-fi, it's a tool. AI learns from data and mimics certain tasks. It's a little bit like your intuition. You don't need to be a tech genius or guru to use it. AI agents, these are your new digital team members that take on tasks you hand over. Think of them as tireless virtual assistants that can execute within the rules you set. The Mario Kart NPCs that just keep hitting the boosters that you leave on the track for them. Our farm analogy, understanding where record keeping, automation, and intuition fit within your business. Intuition is born of experience and an internal recognition of the patterns of your business. The records are the way that you keep track of what was done when and where. And the automation, the repetitive labor, the tractor, is the automation. This trio, intuition, memory, automation, is the winning combo. We talked about picking tasks to automate. Start with repetitive, time-sucking, error-prone tasks. Reclaim your time. Those are the prime candidates to offload to AI and automation. We talked about ROI and benefits. How do you know whether or not a technology investment is worth it? Automation can pay for itself many times over through hours saved, errors eliminated, faster growth, and less stress. We heard how it can cut costs and boost revenue, not to mention improve consistency, speed, and personalization. We imagined life after adopting AI. With the boring stuff handled, you get to spend more time on the creative and strategic parts of your business, or the parts of your business you enjoy most. It's not a fantasy. Even automating a few key processes can make a huge difference in your daily routine. And we talked about getting started. Don't try to do it all at once. Start with a small pilot, learn from it, and build momentum one success at a time. Remember the hyphae and the fungus? Remember, put a little hyphae out there, find that sugar, and when you win, build on your success so that the complexity of your business can handle more nutrients. We talked about getting started. You don't have to do it all at once. You can hire help. You can get yourself a tech buddy. But start with a small pilot project, learn from it, and build momentum one success at a time. And last but not least, we talked about the urgency of now. The sooner you start, the better. The gap between those adopting AI and those sitting on the fence is widening. If you're driving around the track, hitting those Mario Kart accelerators all the time, and your competitors aren't, I wonder who's going to win the race. I want you to be on the winning side of that race, not playing catch up in 2 years. Now, let me get a bit personal as we wrap up. I genuinely believe small businesses are the heart of innovation and great customer service. You have the passion, the personal touch, the agility. It's not some cold, corporate, distant overlord who just sort of wants to siphon money out of your pocket and doesn't really care about the impact it's having in the world. AI isn't here to replace your personal touch and agility. It's here to amplify it. It's like giving you the tools and resources of a big company without losing the soul of a small one. I've dedicated my work to helping entrepreneurs like you embrace these tools. My job is to stay on top of the AI whirlwind so you get what works without the headache. I focus on delivering practical processes and tools that help you save time and money and help you adapt quickly as things evolve. As someone who's deeply interested and deeply motivated and inspired by and who loves this technology, I'll handle the nerd stuff so you don't get left behind. Why? I'm passionate about it. I love seeing the excitement when a client says, I doubled my leads because I finally had the time to focus on marketing, thanks to automation handling the rest. That's the good stuff. I love nothing more than to see someone discover new possibilities and feel invigorated by them. If you're feeling excited but a little bit overwhelmed, totally normal. You don't have to become an AI guru by next week, but do take one action soon. While this is fresh, maybe it's writing down 3 tasks you suspect you could automate. Reach out. I'd be more than happy to talk to you about them. Maybe it's calling a team huddle to brainstorm where AI might help. Or maybe it's reaching out to an expert to discuss options for your specific business. The worst thing you can do is tuck this info away and do nothing, because that wave is still coming whether we paddle or not. When you're in the ocean, you can feel the wave pulling you in. And we're all experiencing some version of that. That's likely why you're here. You're aware that the sea is changing around you and you feel a big change is imminent, but you're not quite sure if it's time to paddle in and start trying to surf, or if you need to just sit there. I'd much rather see you riding the wave with a big grin on your face than getting crushed by this wave. Remember, AI and automation are tools and you are the craftsman. A tool by itself does nothing. Just like a farm implement doesn't need to be used in every season, and sometimes they're just sitting there waiting their time. But in the right hands, the right tool can build something amazing. I'm truly excited to see what you build when you combine your human ingenuity with machine efficiency. So thank you for spending this time with me. I hope you found it engaging and insightful, and maybe it was a little bit funny or silly when we were talking about farms and fungus. If you have questions or you want to chat about how this could work in your business, I'm here to help. Seriously, don't hesitate to reach out. Now, go forward, work smarter, not harder. Your future self and your new AI helpers will all thank you. Till we meet again.